Hi, my name is Mara Minott, and you're watching the BACC's Mind to Canvas. So I am from here. I am from Kalamazoo, Michigan, as well as Ipsy. Obviously, all my Ipsy folks, this was for you. But I identify as an Afro-Latina. My father's from Jamaica, my mother's from Panama. So you may hear me refer to myself as a Caribbean Afro-Latina. If I could be a plant, I would definitely have to say it's going to be my signature sunflower pieces for me, because sunflowers, they don't always need the most water, but they also shine so bright and so beautiful with the little they're given, and I feel like it reflects my journey, and I feel like if I was, a greenery item, it's definitely going to be the sunflower for me. So I got started in resin art because I was on Pinterest. Like most great stories start with a good Pinterest story. I was on Pinterest and I saw this woman, and she was putting crystals in canvas, on tables, and all kinds of crazy things that I'd never seen before. And I was like, wow, that's so cool, it's so beautiful. And then I said out loud, I could never do that. And as soon as I said it out loud, that's my prophecy to myself. I said, challenge accepted. And so from then on, I went and I bought some resin, and then I started working with resin, and now I'm quite the resinista. So that has been really fun, as well as like the 3D artwork. I think that when you're able to feel something, the movement of something, that it changes the way that you perceive maybe yourself as well as life. And I think when you add a little bit of feeling into anything, that always makes the impact stronger. So I wanted to have a space or create art where you're able to feel and touch the canvas. So my 3D artwork, such as like my flowers, my backgrounds, different abstract mediums, really comes from the pursuit to feel and really be able to look inside of myself and figure out what I'm feeling and be able to display that so folks can enjoy. So my work represents, in essence, it represents me. It represents my journey and the places that I've been, where I'm at now, where I'm going, all of the experiences that I've heard from other folks, even from myself, to be able to take that and use it in a way that allows me to see other people's perspective and maybe create a different one of my own. And it represents the diaspora of Blackness. And we're always taught that Blackness is one thing or it's the other, but the truth is Blackness is whatever it means to you. And so for me, it represents the journey, it represents the struggles, it represents the journey just to becoming, and how that has shaped who you are today, and how that's going to continue to shape one generation after the next, and so that is what it means for me. So for me, I never had a specific dream gallery. I think as a person, we're always changing, we're always evolving. So if I'm I want to do this one thing, then I'm limiting myself to all the other possibilities that could be out there. So for me, I'd say my dream experience in a gallery would be a place filled with so many Black and brown folks going out the door, being able to really sit there and just maybe eat, see some cool art, hear some cool music, and really be able to engage with the arts as we do, as that's the history of us as a people. And so I think for me, it would be just an experience of making sure that the community is able to engage with the art, and also be able to have an opportunity to engage with it for themselves. So whether that's through classes, whether that's through coming to see a show, or just through talking, because there's arts to everything. And I think that for me would be the biggest rewarding experience, would be just have a space filled with my people here because they love art, they love you, they love the community, and they're here to support whatever that looks like. So I would say, I guess with social media, right, your art kind of can reach all kinds of folks from all over the world, which is amazing. But I would say the furthest that my art has reached physically would be to my tia, Christina McPrinceton, who is a teacher here at Kalamazoo for about 40, 50 years. Sorry, Tia, if I got the number wrong. I still love you just the same. But I went to Panama back home earlier this year, and I was able to gift her with one of my flower pieces because she's a person who loves flowers, she loves color, she loves anything bright. And I would say that my personal style was definitely inspired by my tias. You know, in Panama, everybody wears different colors. Everything feels so bright and just so cultural that you have to be a part of it. And so I really wanted that piece to reflect our journey together, but also for her to have a little bit of me until I'm able to come back home and spend some more time there. So any advice for those tapping into artistry? Honestly, I would say tap into yourself. You know, I think that's the biggest thing is most people find the art inside of themselves. And then they're able to take that and display it for other folks in whatever way it works for them. And I would say to trust yourself, trust your gut, and don't let people's opinions of what art is or what art should be influence how you see yourself and the value of your work. One of my quotes that I learned from Pinterest was, everyone's an artist when they're a child, but the problem is how to remain an artist when we grow up. And I think that so many of us are in a space where we love art, we appreciate art, but we're not sure what that looks like for us as adults or as folks who are just learning a new medium. But the thing about life is you can always grow, you can always evolve, we're always becoming. We're not done until we're done, you know what I'm saying? So you always have time to continue to improve what that looks like for you. And while you're improving your skills, that'll also improve maybe just your time management, or it could improve your perspective, whatever that looks like for you. Just making the art about you and what you want it to be, and not being ashamed to say, I need some support, I need some help, and reaching out to all of us lovely humans, because we're all here to help. Artists love to help and support, and so just reaching out to those resources is important. So what made me want to get into artistry? Well, when I was a kid, growing up, even in high school, my art, people would always say, oh, she did a really good job, and you know, they put your art in the hallway, and you'd be like, oh, that's so cool, and then you just move on about your life, right? So when I was in my second year of college, I was studying through undergrad at Western University, and something about second year students, you always feel that you're lost. You never feel like, you know, you've been there for a year and you're not quite sure where you're going exactly. And sometimes as a Black student, you know, students slip through the cracks. And that was definitely a really challenging year for me personally, because I just had a lot of personal things going on, but also I was learning a lot about life and about myself and about the kind of person that I wanted to be. So it was a year of growth. And so I learned there's no better way to grow than through art. One day I went home and I was just really upset. I was just having a hard day. And I went to the store, picked up some brushes, picked up a canvas, and I just started drawing and then painting. And then to my surprise, it was pretty good. I said, wait a minute now. I said, hold on, I don't know about that. Let's try it again. Well, it's been 5 years and I'm still trying it again every day. And I think it was really just understanding that we all go through things, we all have different experience, but at the same point, to be able to take that and to use pain and be able to use perspective and turn it into something positive or turn it into a message for someone else, I think that's where the growth is, and that's where the beauty is, to be able to see things from a different perspective, but also be able to inspire others to follow their dreams and say, it's okay that things didn't work out that time, but you know what, maybe next time, maybe it'll work out different. So I think my next step with my art career is just focusing on me. I realized that in my perspective, the better the art is, the more I'm able to like center myself and really focus on what my goals are. So for me personally, you know, I plan to take the LSAT, so I would like to be a lawyer and therefore pursue being a judge following that. And so that has definitely impacted my art journey, because without one and the other working together, I wouldn't be who I am. And so I think my next step would be really just seeing what opportunities are available, specifically focusing on places for folks of color, focusing on the experience, as well as I would like to, I've been asked a lot of times, and I've decided I will teach some classes, some resin classes, as well as some maybe 3D flower classes to get some folks in the door and just be able to have a different experience. biggest part, I guess, for me of that would be the connections I make with other people, because art is about community. It's not something definitely that you do only by yourself. There's all kinds of things influencing you, and being able to influence someone on canvas, as well as being able to give a positive influence and a role model to another person, is a really beautiful thing. And so being able to take that and use that in a classroom where they don't only ask you about your art, they're also asking you about your experience. They're also asking about your education. They're also asking about cultural, lived, shared experiences. Where are you traveling? What are you doing? Where are you going? And I think that is the most beautiful thing when when someone else is able to say, hey, I saw this thing and it really inspired me to do this thing that I really always wanted to do. And I've had that experience with several folks, and it's really been rewarding. So I guess my next art move is just to continue to move. And whatever that looks like for me, and just making sure I'm focusing on mental health, wellness, as well as just continuing to find joy in the art of learning to see things from a different perspective. Actually, in November, I'm super excited. I will be the featured artist at the space with Yolanda Lavender in November. So come check me out. I will be there. I will be the beautiful painted color. I'll see you there.